Hello everyone and welcome back to another Godzilla Battle Line video. We're talking about battle memories today, but not just a regular battle memories video. I am joined today by Jabroni Nation 1, and we are doing our top 5 battle memories. We have picked 5 of them, and one honorable mention. We are doing, it doesn't have to be what we think are the 5 best cards, because if you want to know what I think the best cards are, you can go look at my tier list for that. But I have 5 cards that I think are like my favorites. I have some like ones that are fun. I have some that are actually impactful, but I think all of these are special one way or another. And Jabroni has chosen them as well. And also, I don't think I mentioned this, but you can find Jabroni on YouTube at Jabroni Nation 1. Say hello, Jabroni.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? Happy to be here. Looking forward to going over some of these memories. I may have failed by picking my favorite, which are also mostly the best ones, but we'll see
Listen,
how it goes.
we're gonna compare notes because I think we might have overlap. We might not. I think I can guarantee that one of our cards maybe overlaps. Actually, I have no idea. Maybe one of our cards overlaps because I think we picked different ones, but I think that it's good that we probably ended up picking different ones. Now, I don't know
Yeah.
what he picked, and he does not know what I picked. So we'll start with the honorable mentions. My honorable mention, it did not make it into my top 5, is the Godzilla Planet Eater card. The one that is increases the leader's HP by 9%, but lowers the special move cost by 1. That was in my honorable mentions. I did not put this into my top 5. I didn't think it was, not, I don't want to say interesting enough to not have been in my top 5. I think it's a really good card, and there's a lot that you can do with it. I think it's always going to be a good card. I just didn't think it was like fun enough, in my opinion, for this to be in my top 5.
Uh, that's not a card I use very often. I feel like you have to still have the amount of energy to shoot it off for one less still, right? Is that still a
Yeah.
thing?
No, it's
Yeah.
not. It's not.
Okay. So that was a bug at first, right? That shows
Yeah,
you
that
how
was
much
a
I've used
bug.
this card. Yeah, that was one thing I absolutely hated about. I was like, this doesn't make any sense, but I'm glad they fixed it. And for me personally, I don't think I've used it one time. So that did not make my list. Did not make
Well,
my list.
what was your honorable mention?
My honorable mention was one of the best cards in the game not too long ago, but has recently been power crept like everything else, and that is the Rebirth of Mothra card. Um, I like this card because it hits a lot of very solid 4-star units. Does obviously it made Des Ghidorah a beast that first season that it came out, and I
Mm-hmm.
just like giving 15% attack to
The
Des
Flyers.
Ghidorah. Yeah, Rainbow Mothra and Aqua are the main 3 that I like this card. I used it a lot before, not as much recently, if at all, but I think it's still a very solid card. And if you stack it with the other cards that also buff Des Ghidorah, you can make him. I think I had him plus 648 damage with this card, the Ghidorah card, and the plus 7 card, which is pretty beefy attack right there.
I was talking to Rick the Squirrel about this card, I think yesterday, and this card with the others, I mean, you can get Des Ghidorah to have like a 47% boost. Like, it's absurd. And this is one of the cards that you need to do it. This was one of the cards that I was going to put in my top 5 that I ultimately decided not to.
Oh, you're breaking up. I can't hear you.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
This was
Oh,
a.
you're back.
Oh, okay, excellent. This was one of the cards that I was going to put in my top 5, but I didn't.
Yes, I heard that, and then it was quiet after. Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
So what do you got for your next one?
Okay, so for the next card, for my number 5 card, I picked, and this one honestly probably should have been the honorable mention, but for my number 5 card, I picked the Godzilla against Mechagodzilla card that is only able to go up to 3 stars. The
Oh
signed
boy.
card. I picked this for my top 5 because I think I have a lot of sentimental value to this card. I really don't think it's very good.
Have you
Like,
ever even ran this thing?
I did run this card very briefly when cards first came out because I needed a blue card. And this
Okay.
was the only maxed out card that I had because you could only get it to 3 stars. I put it in my top 5. It should have maybe been an honorable mention, but I put it in my top 5 because it's the only card in the game that is maxed out at 3 stars, and it was like one of the exclusive cards. I love exclusive things. My entire background of my, of my camera is just exclusive figures and shit. I love exclusive things, and so this one spoke to me a little bit.
Well, that's fair. I mean, it is definitely exclusive. I'm pretty sure you had to grab it right at the beginning, right? Right when they
Yep.
first came out,
I
or
think you had
else you
like a
do
month
not
or
have it.
two to grab it over the summer, or else it was just gone from your library. I mean, not that it's super impactful or anything. The other Kiryu card that they gave out was extremely impactful, but and if you miss that one, you're kind of screwed, right? But this one is not so much. I just like it because it's exclusive.
The Kiru 2002 special sign version that increases the leader HP and shortens the special
Yep.
move by 9%.
Yep.
It's funny you mention that one because that is my number 5 card.
That is your number 5 card. I think I just passed it. That one is your number 5 card. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
I gotta go find it right here. Boom.
So I picked this. I kind of cheated. I wanted to put all the special move cooldown cards in kind of one.
Mm-hmm.
Although this
Yeah.
one is probably the best one of the group, but I feel like if you're running one, you're probably running multiple of
Probably
them.
running all of them.
I don't use these cards a lot, but I know that they are very popular, and I wanted to include everyone. And I thought that everyone would appreciate, or a lot of people would appreciate, having the special move cooldown card represented in this top 5. And it is good. When I do use them, I often use 2 or 3 of them. I've even run
Mm-hmm.
all 4 of them. And now we have a 5th one, the Ebra card. I think doesn't look
Yeah.
like that one's gonna be very good though, but it's red, I guess, if you want to match colors.
I was gonna
So
say I would disagree with you on that one. However, I recorded a video for that, and I don't know if that video goes live before or after this one comes out because I haven't scheduled it yet. But I have a video talking about that brand new Ebra card, and I left it out of this list on purpose because I didn't want to do 2 videos talking about it. But I like that red Ebra card. After we record this, I'll discuss my thoughts with you
I
on
think
that
it's
one.
only 5% at 4 stars, right? So it's just not
It's
very.
Yeah, it's like 5. It's probably gonna be like 6% max.
Yeah, yeah. So I think it's the lowest of the four
Yeah,
of the what now
100%.
5 So yeah,
110%.
but
So
yeah. So wanted to represent the cooldown, and so that's why that is my number 5.
that's excellent. So we both have the signed Kiryu card in our top 5. In at the
Okay.
5 spot, no less, which is
Oh,
that's pretty funny.
that is pretty funny.
But my number 4, unconventional number 4, I went for a fun pick, right? Again, I picked the Godzilla 1965 where he's dancing or jumping. That lowers the movement speed of ground units by 16%. I I'm a sucker for the underdog story. Zeton is one of my favorite units that I pray one day will get a buff that just makes him absolutely busted out of his mind. This card is like an underdog card to me. I think that this could be extremely valuable in the right hands, but because we're in a meta that is so focused on energy gain, this card is just unusable at the moment. But I think that there's a lot of potential for cards like this, where maybe like you lower your movement speed, but you increase your attack, stuff like that. Like this is the start to something that is, could become way more complicated down the line and really good. And everyone can get this card for free, which I also
Yeah,
like. So that's in my top 5.
yeah. And the picture's great, obviously. So
Oh, 100%. He's jumping.
yeah, so good.
What was your 4? What was your number 4 pick?
So my 4 is a new release. We got the Godzilla 2024 Evolved, the increased energy with a 3.5 casting cost or less average.
I hate this card.
Um,
I hate if you use this card and I catch you outside, I'm putting you through a wall.
I hate it because it's really hard to build. I mean, there's a lot of, I guess, I feel like we need more really good units that at the smaller the 3 or less
Yeah,
cost can make this more powerful. It just still doesn't really compete with
the five and a
with the
half.
yeah, the 5.5 card. Like it's a good try. I feel like I want to be like, Toho, you tried, but you missed. This had to be like 3.8 or 4 might be too much, but just a little bit more. I was able to do some stuff with like 3.7. I was like, man, this could be pretty good, but 3.5 is tough. Like I can win against most people with the levels I have, but against the best players using this card, even with my levels, it's rough go. It's a rough go.
And
But I
even
think
like
it's fun.
Oh, sorry, I mean to interrupt you. Finish your thought before I
No,
interrupt you.
I was just gonna say I think it's a fun card. I think it's probably a good card for newer players if they can get their hands on it, because there's a lot of like gold star cards that you could rank up faster and maybe use with this and just spawn stuff out really fast that maybe at lower levels and not as high ranked or whatever. But it definitely breeds different deck building, so that's why I included it.
Yeah, I think I made a video recently talking about this card. Also, when this one that we're filming right now comes out, I don't know if the one that I recorded for this will be out or not, because I record all my videos like in advance. I'll do like a ton of them the same day, whatever.
Yeah,
This card, the Gamera 67 decks were already really strong. This is like it lights them on fire, right? This is like a fantastic card for those decks. So those are
yeah,
really good. And then the issue that I have with the 3.5, as opposed to the 5.5, is a lot of the heavy hitters for the 3.5. If you want to use like Destroya or Shin Godzilla, those are 3-stage evolutions you got to get out, and
yeah.
then you can have your beaters. But in the 5.5 deck, it's just like everything is already available right now. You're not relying on a bunch of little guys and just overwhelming and then getting the evolutions. The 5.5, you can just throw out whatever you want and it's gonna work.
Yeah, and it doesn't help that you can just monster zero leader ability all the evos. Like if you put out someone puts
Yeah,
out a couple evos, yeah, I'll just kill them in for 4.
exactly.
Start over, son.
This is a card that is really good right now, right? Not as good as the 5.5. The more characters that we get at 3, 4 energy or less that are really good, like how the Chibis were, right?
Right,
This
that's what I'm saying.
this will take off. So this just needs the right cards, and it could be like the number one card in the game. It's probably a top 5 for sure, top 2 even, but
Yeah, that's what I
it
was
needs
trying to
it needs
say.
better
Basically,
units.
it's kind of like Gamera 67. The card is so strong on its own,
Hmm.
mini does Ghidorah, but I just feel like it needs some more units that it can pair with it, that it can like shield up or whatever.
Yeah. Okay,
If
that's
that
excellent.
happens, if Toho puts some more of those out, then that's going to be scary.
Yeah, we've just gotten a consistent group of like, 5 or 6 or 7 cost units for the last like 3 or 4 months. So maybe we'll see some really strong, lower cost units, or maybe some characters get their costs reduced in the future to make them more viable. And then this card will, benefit them, which will be nice.
Yeah.
My number 3 card. I put this card in number 3 spot because I don't think anyone would put this in their top 5, let alone their top 3. I just think conceptually, this card is really a good idea, is really strong in concept. I'd like to see it pushed further. And spoiler alert, it was the card that made it into the game because of a fan vote. It is the Mothra 1992 card that reduces the time required for evolutions by 7 seconds, additionally increases the HP of 1-star units by 7%. Decreasing the evolution time is really strong. However, evolutions right now are not really the move because everything is coming out so fast and they're hitting extremely hard. I'm not a
Yeah.
huge fan of evolution units. I wish that they
No.
would make this card decrease the time by like 15 seconds. If I could get Ultima out in 15 seconds, that would be, you know, light years better than where he's at right now. Obviously, like we haven't really gotten like a have we even gotten an evolution unit like at all this year? I can't even remember the last evolution unit we got.
Yeah.
That wasn't like an on death. I couldn't even tell you. I don't even remember
Yeah.
off the top of my head.
I can't think of it either. That's not an on death one, or like
Yeah,
like Gauss that gets more and more each time you cast it or something like that. So
exactly. Like the Avas, Ava O2 maybe was the last evolution unit we got that is a timed evolution. So like
mm,
this card will improve the more evolutions that are added, and I think this is a little bit weak. I think the concept is extremely interesting. It's the only card in the game that does something like this. Even on the voting poll, they had several cards on that voting poll that did the exact same thing. It was just dependent on what the character was that was associated with. Like, oh, is it a Destroyer card that increases damage? Or is it a Mega Godzilla card that increases damage? But this was the only card on that list that had this ability. And it's the only card in the game, even still, at the time this video was made, that has this ability. I think it's really interesting. I wish they would push this concept further. maybe make evolution units slower and decrease the time or something like that. There's a lot of potential in this kind of field. I'd like to see an improvement on that.
Yeah, for sure. Or maybe some sort of like decrease the time and buffs their HP and attack or something.
Yeah, exactly.
We're getting cards that do that now.
Yeah. Or yeah, something like that. Or like reduces, yeah. We're saying this yeah, like I think this card conceptually really strong. In practice, it didn't hit. It did not hit the marks that we would really hoped it would.
Yeah.
What's your number 3?
My number 3, and this one is one of my favorite cards, and it's awesome. But I love Ghidorahs. I love Des Ghidorah. I love Thousand Year Dragon, and I love Godzilla King of the Monsters 2019 red card that gives all my Ghidorahs 16% additional attack boost there, and the one extra energy probably that's helpful as well. So, but yeah, this is in a lot of my decks. I like running 2 or 3 Ghidorahs, with the Monster Zero Antarctica edition as well. I really like that unit. So yeah, I love this card. It's I use it often especially if I'm running at least 2 of the Ghidorahs.
That's really funny that you put that as your 3, because that's my 2. This is my number 2 card. This was the card that I thought we would have overlap for sure. Was this the King Ghidorah card? So this we'll still talk about this as your 3, but this is also my 2. So we can just wrap that in one. Sure. I love this card. I use Des Ghidorah all the time. I love the Ghidorahs. I think 1,000 Years is absolutely sick. I think that the King of the Monsters Ghidorahs are really good too. Yeah, this is just a based card. I mean, you can even tell from just the amount of reaction images, like the emojis on the Discord, like to that card in the card library. It's on screen right now. No other card in our library has as big of a string of reactions as this one. People love this card. People love the Ghidorahs. And as long as there are any Ghidorahs added at any point in time, this will always benefit them. And I think when cards are designed like that, they're a tier above the rest, as opposed to be like, only GMK units benefit from this. This is, as long as they are a King Ghidorah, and they could add like 1,000,000 King Ghidorahs, this will always work. I like this card a lot.
Yeah, I like cards specifically that affect a lot of units. Like my honorable mention one covered a lot of units. This one covers a lot of units. Some of my more recent favorites that have, like I said, gone down a little bit, but like the one that buffs all the like robot characters because they're all their attack buff. That's a whole list of units and covers any future ones that come in there.
They have one for facilities too, I believe. There's one that's like boosts all the facilities as long as there's a facility or something like that. I don't remember what it is.
Yeah, it's 20% HP and 20. Well, there's the kind of newer one that does 20% HP and 20 more seconds for the facilities.
Yeah,
that's a pretty
increase
cool
the
card.
operating time of facilities by 20 seconds. Increases the HP of 1-star units by 20%. So this is also this is a good one. I like that one too.
Yeah.
All right, so that was your 3 and my
but
2.
Your 2.
So what is your 2?
2, right?
Yeah, what's your 2?
I'm a little behind the 8 ball. Let me pull it up. Sorry. Where are you? Here it is. All right. So we're Magic players. I love giant monsters, and Godzilla Planet of the Monsters is my number 2 card because I love increasing my HP and the attack of all my 7+ monsters that I play by 14%. That makes me happy, and I run this in pretty much every deck.
You are gonna laugh, but this was my number 1 card.
Your number 1 card.
This was my number 1 card.
This card pairs very well with my number 1 card, so
I can't wait to hear what your number 1 is. I love this card. This also falls in line with this. The unit just has to be 7 cost or more. That is the minimum requirement. 7 cost. It could be anything at 7 cost, right? And it will, as long as it's a unit, not like an effect, and it works. I love that. 14% is not a fucking joke. The attack rank at 316 is really good, and if you color match, you're probably going to get that into the 400s.
Yeah.
So that's like 4 levels right there.
Yeah, I love this card. Like I said, pretty much, unless I'm running the 3.5 card that we just went over, I'm running this in all my deck and pretty much all my decks. So
yeah, right now the way I'm running my deck is very energy focused, like trying to regain my special leader special move. And if I was not doing that, I would be running this card because this is just going to make the new. I'm using Rio Godzilla rented at level 30, and this would just juice him up even more than I already have him. So I this was my number one card. What's your number one card? Because we've had our last two have been the same. At least one, yours is one behind, mine's one ahead. What's your number one?
Well, I think it's good that this card is being represented, or else we might be in trouble. Godzilla Final Wars
Yeah, I had a feeling that it was the Final Wars card.
is my number one card. It is so good. It changed the game. It allowed people to play multiple 7, 8 drops in their decks. Not really possible before. Rule of thumb was always to try to, before this card came out, it was most of my deck
Have a
building
really
was like,
well-rounded team.
well, just try to get like 4.5 casting cost, 4.5. I tried not to ever go above that. And this just changed that. Now I can run Mecha City and Desghidorah and the new Thermo Godzilla or Godzilla 24. All I can do whatever I want, and this card lets it happen. And I like that it. I know a lot of people are upset because it is kind of like a win more card. If you don't have it, you're kind of screwed.
Yeah, if you don't have this card, you're absolutely fucked. Like that's just
Yeah.
I don't have this card, and I can tell when someone has this card, and I'm like, there's nothing I can do here. Like I'm just gonna get rolled.
Yeah, that is an unfortunate part of it. But if you're thinking positive about it, it's opened up a lot more deck building options, as far as like people being able to run multiple giant monsters or doing an all Ghidorah team with this card, the Ghidorah card, and my number 2 card, the 7+ card. I mean, it hits all of them, and yeah, it's pretty powerful.
You brought up a really
Like
good point, like that the cards do open up more avenues for deck building. I would even say for newer players, if you focus on the cards, you're gonna be able to build way stronger decks just purely around, how if you have this card and you're a new player, you're gonna roll every single new player. You're just gonna stomp them. Like it's not even like the cards are the new meta, right? The monsters are good, of course. The cards are the new meta. This is the top of the meta, right? This card absolutely just changed the game in every sense of the word. Now the games are way faster, way more frustrating if you don't have the card, but like
Yeah.
if you want to compete, you gotta try to get these cards. Like I didn't wail this season that this Final Wars came out, and I kick myself every single day that I did not try to max this card out on day one.
Yeah, I think not to go off topic, but I mean it is talking about the memory cards, like the new system they came out when you trade in purples, 10 to get one. They
Yeah.
got to fix that. Like, I mean, and this is coming. I have all the cards maxed, and I want other people to be able to get them easier. Like, it's cool. Like, it's not. I mean, it's cool, but it's not cool that I have an advantage over everyone. I want other people to be able to get into the mix and get these cards. And their idea is good, but it's terrible. Trade in 10 purples and maybe get the same one you already got. You got to be able to at least pick what card you
I would
want.
rather trade in 15 to just choose one.
Yeah, yeah.
And
You
they don't
have to
even
be able to
have
choose
all
it.
of the 4-star cards on the list. This Final
I
Wars
know.
card is not in there.
Yeah,
Like
that's
I'm
crazy.
saving my
It's
exchange tickets until this gets in that pool of cards. That could be 6 months
Absolutely.
from now. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I thought it was just like the current season and maybe last season cards weren't in the pool, and then everything else would be, and like they just get
They're
added
like
after.
3 seasons behind, 4
Yeah,
seasons maybe behind.
that's crazy.
Yeah,
They need to add them in there, and they need to make it so like you can pick what card you want.
yeah, 100. I agree 100%. It is because now we're at like near the end of the video. We've gone through all our top 5 cards.
Yeah.
I think I love the cards. I love cards. I have boxes of cards. The freaking white thing behind me in my background, this little cubby, is full of trading cards. Is full of Magic cards. Is full of Pokemon cards. One Piece, Yu-Gi-Oh, all of it is in there. I love cards. I have been asking for a system like these cards since day one. In one of my earliest streams, someone asked, what do you want to see come to the game? And I said, I'd love some kind of external factor that gives you passive boosts and changes the game, and everyone could have unique ones. Kind of like how they had in Godzilla Defense Force, you could use like the Shobujin on different levels to give you different effects. That's what I wanted for this game. The cards are what I wanted for this game. They have hit the system on the head with like exactly what I wanted. It is just way, way too hard to get cards. It is way too hard for free-to-play players to get cards. They do not give enough opportunities for them, and if you don't pull the right card, you're shit out of luck for who knows how long.
It shouldn't be 2,000 gems for a 10 draw either. It should be like maybe 1,000 would be
It
more
should be
reasonable.
1,000. It should be 1,000 for 10. It should be a 1-to-1 system. 100 per card. 1,000 gems is 10 cards.
And what happened to like selling 3 packs of them, like one purple and 2 gold or something in the store? They should do that every season and just change it up so people can try to, if they want to buy them that way.
I
I
agree.
don't know if it's a money offer or a gem offer or whatever, but they're just
Because
not easy enough to acquire, which is the
it was
problem.
they sold at first they sold them where it would be like, here's 2,000 like spend 2,000 gems and you get a platinum card, a gold
Yep.
card, and like 2 silvers.
Yeah,
Fine,
that's what something like
whatever.
that.
The platinum is probably worth about 1,000 gems anyway, 2,000 gems anyway, and the rest is just extra. But then, like in the last few months, they were selling them. It was like 2,000 for a platinum card and like the points to level it up, but not 4 cards. It was 1 card and points. I'm like, that kind of sucks, right?
Yeah,
But they only did like 6 of these offers total. They did like 3 of the actual packs, and then like 3 of the. And it came with fragments. It was like fragments, points, and 1 card. And I'm like, and they're not even good
yeah,
cards that they were offering. So bring back the
right.
packs that you could buy for 2,000, and then make a 10 roll 1,000, and you're done. Call it a day. Easy. Way better.
And do the trade in like we talked about, make it so
Yeah.
you get to pick what you want.
Yeah. And
'Cause
that one, of
I
course.
I don't think there's anything more feel bad than someone trading in 10 purples for a chance at getting one, and that's one of the ones they already just traded in. I
Yeah,
mean,
because
most people don't have even 10 to trade in. Like they're still collecting them.
yeah. Exactly. Like people, I've talked to people online or in the Discord who are like, yeah, if I know I'm not going to use this purple card, I just sell it. And I'm like, I can't even imagine. The only purples I've sold are ones that I have had duplicates of for whatever reason. Um, and even then,
Yeah,
right? I play this game a lot. I get a lot of cards. Sometimes I win them, sometimes I don't. I only had 6 of these tickets. And I played this game religiously. It wasn't until I got one of the offers that gave you more. So now I have the 30 tickets. I have 36 tickets of these. And actually, I had 40 because I bought the other one. And then I used it. I was like, let me just see what this exchange is all about. And I got one that I already had. And I was
yeah,
like, that sucks. Like, this sucks. So,
yeah, yeah. I read the fine print and I was like, oh my God, you got to be kidding me. This is not what I thought they were talking about. I was definitely disappointed for every,
yeah.
and I don't even need it. Like I literally don't need it. Like I have 300 and something. I could do
Insane.
it 30 times and
That's
it doesn't
insane.
matter.
Yeah, I
I still
wish.
want them to fix it.
All right, but that was our discussion on the cards. We're running pretty high. But I just want to say thank you again, Jabroni, for coming out and helping us with this video. And as a reminder to everyone, you can follow Jabroni on YouTube at Jabroni Nation 1. And do you have anything you'd like to tell the good people, sir?
No, it's just it's great playing all of you guys. I know sometimes it's frustrating if you need a win or whatever, you're on a streak or your best streak, just send me a Let's Be Friends or something twice. Unless I'm streaking, I love hooking people up and looking forward to playing you guys. It's
There
been
we
fun.
go. If you need a win from Jabroni, hit a Let's Be Friends twice. Probably he'll let you get it. So
Yeah,
that's
unless
very
like I
nice of
said,
you.
unless I'm grinding something or streaking, I don't care otherwise typically.
There you go. A man of the people. That is
Appreciate
what
you.
you're welcome. Of course, of course. That is what we have for you guys today. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye bye.